The sun rose slowly over the quiet village called Edo, casting golden light on rusted rooftops and dusty roads. Before the story began, please subscribe to this YouTube channel to watching out the concluding part of this story. There was a girl named Faith. Every new day she brought the same burdens: wake up, cook, serve, endure. She was just 27, but life had carved deep lines of pain into her heart. It had been 2 years since a speeding truck on a rain-slick highway had shattered her world. Her parents were gone, claimed by death in a mangled vehicle, leaving her to care for her younger sister Grace. She was 10-year-old. From that moment, childhood ended for both girls. Faith took on the role of mother, father, and sister all at once. She found work helping a woman who ran a small roadside restaurant. The woman was harsh and unkind. She shouted at Faith, called her names, and often withheld her pay. But Faith endured it. She had no choice. Grace needed her. Grace was her everything. The little girl was the light in her life, curious, joyful, and always humming a song. She would often play near the riverbank after school, fascinated by the flowing water and the crabs that crawled through the mud. Faith always warned her not to go too close. One day, while Faith was sweating over pots of hot stew and rice, a scream pierced the air. "Child, Dawn fall inside river." Her heart froze. Her mind raced. She ran fast. Barefoot, apron still on, she tore through the market, ignoring the stares. The crowd by the river had gathered, pointing, whispering. A slipper floated by. It was Grace's. They never found the body. The grief came like thunder. 4 days, Faith couldn't eat. She barely spoke. At night, she clutched Grace's school uniform and cried silently until dawn. A week later, she packed a small bag and left the village without a word. She entered yellow bus to her destinations. Smoke choked the sky. Nobody noticed her, just another face among thousands. She found herself in a place called Akoko, on the edge of the city. She didn't know anyone. That first night, she slept under a bridge, her back against cold concrete, her stomach empty. But Faith was strong. The next morning, she scoured the streets, asking for work. After several rejections, a woman running a small bukka gave her a job of 25,000 naira monthly. The work was hard, but familiar. Cook, wash, serve. 2 months passed. She saved every kobo. One afternoon, in the bustling market, she met a young woman who mentioned a cheap shop for rent. The lady told her there is one cheap shop by the riverside. She said, "Only 6,000 naira a per year." Faith hesitated at the word river, but her desire to be independent outweighed her fear. They visited the spot. The shop was small, dusty, but solid. The river flowed behind it, silent and brown. She paid the rent in cash. The next day, she went to the market and bought everything she needed: pots, spoons, bowls, a gas and cooler, ingredients. She scrubbed the floors clean, arranged her utensils, and painted a small wooden sign, "Faith's Delight." She cooked jollof rice, white rice, fried rice, spaghetti, and semolina. Her aroma filled the air. But nobody came to buy the food. For 2 weeks, the food sat untouched. She threw most of it away. Her heart sank. She asked the lady who showed her the shop, "Why is nobody buying?" "Maybe it's the location," she said. Another week passed. Still no customers. One Saturday night, it rained heavily. Faith was asleep inside the small room behind her shop when a knock jolted her awake. She sat up, heart pounding. Who could it be? She opened the door. A tall, dark woman stood there, soaked but unmoving. Her skin was midnight black. Her fingers were long, too long. "Who are you?" Faith asked, voice trembling. The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I am the river woman," she said. "I've been watching you." Faith tried to close the door, but her body froze. "I see your struggle. Take this," the woman said, handing her a small bottle filled with clear water. "Pour it into your cooking pot. Customers will come." Faith didn't know why, but she took it. The next morning, she followed the instruction. She poured the water into her pot before cooking. That day, customers came. One by one. Then in groups. Soon, a queue formed. Everyone wanted a taste of her food. Her business flourished. People praised her cooking. Her shop buzzed with laughter and clinking spoons. But after a month, complaints began. Stomach pain. My child is vomiting. Villagers whispered. An elderly man came to her shop. What kind of water do you use? He asked. Faith couldn't answer. The man frowned. That river has history. Bad history. The rumors spread. People stopped coming. Another week passed. Her shop stood silent again. One rainy night, a knock came again. She opened the door. It was the river woman. Take more, she said. Your pot is empty. Customers will come again. Faith stepped back. No, I don't want it. The woman's face darkened. If you refuse, I will take you instead. Faith ran. She ran to the village elders, trembling. They gathered. They listened. That river is cursed, one said. Long before this community was formed, sacrifices were made there. It feeds on sorrow. Another nodded. No business by that river ever ends well. Faith's eyes were open now. The signs were there all along. She returned to her shop, packed her things, and left that very night. As she walked away, the river whispered behind her. It wasn't done. But Faith was. Kept moving. A week past, Faith moved to a new community called Tech in Ogun State, far from water. She rented a small room and started over, cooking again, but this time from her own kitchen. No signboard. No queue. Just quiet, honest food. But the silence didn't last. It began with dreams. Every night, she saw the river. Dark, swollen, calling her name. She would wake drenched in sweat, her ears ringing with whispers. On her windowsill, wet footprints appeared, vanishing before dawn. Then she saw the woman. Not in dreams. In the market. On the road. In the crowd. Always watching. Never blinking. Faith's peace was crumbling. Fear returned. One evening, her neighbor knocked. A woman came by, asking for you. Said she's your relative. Her eyes. They weren't normal. Faith knew. She had tried to escape. But some debts don't forgive. Some doors, once opened, don't close. She couldn't run again. She returned to Akoko. She stood before her abandoned shop. The sign was gone. The walls were cracked. But the river was still there. Still watching. This time, she wasn't afraid. Inside the shop, the air was cold. The woman was already waiting, seated like she never left. I see you've come, she said. Are you ready to serve again? Faith didn't answer. She opened her bag and brought out a small calabash, herbs, and a red cloth. I didn't come to cook, she said. I came to end it. The woman hissed. Her fingers stretched, shadows lengthened. Faith stepped forward. You took my sister. You fed on my pain. But no more. She smashed the calabash to the ground. Fire sparked. The herbs burned blue. The river behind the shop roared as if angry. The woman screamed, a sound not human. Faith chanted the words the elder had taught her. The woman twisted, cracked, then vanished in a burst of black smoke. The river stilled. The silence was heavy. Faith dropped to her knees. It was over, she thought. Behind her, the water rippled. A child's voice whispered, Sister? Faith turned slowly. Grace stood at the edge of the water, soaked, eyes hollow. Faith, I'm back. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Watch out in part 2.